What's going on, everybody? We're going to do some Pico-8 development for my little RPG toolkit that I worked on recently. Let's take a look as it stands right now. Okay. Load Hex 2. Run. Alright. Hex Terrain Generator. So we have a title screen. And the way it's set up now, you press the right button to scroll through the keys, or the different pages. And that's it. So that's something I want to fix later, but I figured I'd get functionality working first. So we have the Hex Terrain Editor. Yay. We've got, this is the dice and oracle. So, okay, I want to roll a d20. I got a 5. Let's roll another one and see if we beat it. I got a 9. You know, I met I met an NPC in a village. Are they friendly? What's the likelihood? 50-50 even likelihood. Are they friendly? No, they are not. Are they hostile? It's unlikely that they're hostile, so we'll go to the not likely one. Are they hostile? Yes, they are hostile, so now we gotta fight them. That kind of thing. Alright, and then we press it right. Here's the Rune Picker. I worked on this a little bit. I brought one of the things I want to do in the future is this portion where it says Rune and has the image. I want to flip that with the text. So that's on top, and then the description is on the bottom. But I made that readable. And then there you go. So what am I doing now? So on the dice page, I want to add a couple of things. All right. I want to add fate dice, and if you're not familiar with fate dice, they're the ones that are 6-sided dice with pluses or minuses on them, and you roll 4 dice, and each plus or minus or blank side is either 0, +1, or -1. So rolling 4 dice, you're generating a number between -4 and +4. So it's very similar to an 8-sided die, except the arc of probability. Okay, so it's like 1 in 81 the chance that you'll get a 4, and a 1 in 81 chance that you'll get -4. So, and then there's a whole, a couple of role-playing systems that are based around it. So I want to use fate dice. Also, playing cards. I mean, remember, these are solo RPG tools. There are some really good content generation tables that require you to draw a playing card. So I want to incorporate some of that stuff later. Right now, let's just get a system in where when I press this button, oh, not that button, this button, it will give me a playing card. So let's start with the fate dice, okay? Let's see how this is structured. Okay. So the way I have the code structured, I have 2 functions written for each one of the screens. One at the back end and one is the front end. Okay. This is the oracle page. So this is, no, the oracle I added later, so it has its own. Let's just close everything up. That's the Hex Terrain Generator. Flow control. That's the init phase. Yeah, it's under Oracle, isn't it? Here we have the dice. Okay. I gave them the worst possible variable names. C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Should have called them D6, D10, D100. Don't know what I was thinking, but I'm not going to do surgery on the code to fix it now, that's for sure. Alright. So, and this, as you can imagine, the floor value of a random number between 0 and 0 up to and including 6 plus 1, so that you never get 0. There you go. That's the basically. Let's copy and paste this. Change this to whatever side you need. So we're gonna do some fate dice. All right. So fate dice requires 4 dice. Fate 1. Fate 2, Fate 3, Fate 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Alright. Great. So this, at this point, it's just rolling 6-sided dice. Alright, hang on a second here. Here we go. I had to look all over for him, but here it is. That is a fate die. 6-sided die. Pluses, minuses, or blank. And it's 2 plus faces, 2 minus faces, and 2 blank faces. So in order to simulate a fate die, we only really need to generate a number between 1 and 3, and that ought to do it. Alright, so instead of 6, drop this down to 3. Now, rather than... So I could just adjust it so that it would produce the final number, but what I want to happen is in the output, I don't want it to just say the number. I want it to show like minus minus plus plus, and then the total is 0. And that's the reason why we're actually generating. I'm making sure to generate the dice separately. It's not just to preserve the arc of probability, because that's important too, but also because I want to show the individual dice. Alright, so what's the best way to do this? Okay. Fate. Show. Oh. Show fate. Show fate 1. And these are going to be strings. All right. Okay. So we're going to start with they're going to start with the, oh no, this is the, Alright. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to copy these, and we're going to put them up in a knit. And I've been told you don't need to do this, but this is what I like to do, okay? All these front-facing variables, I put them up in a knit, and I give them a status like error. Okay. So that means this should never be front-facing. You should never see that. But if something happens and the wrong variable gets assigned to it, or no variable gets assigned to it, that's what it'll show. Instead of having a null value. So there are some rare occasions where like the program will still run even though there's a problem, but it won't display what you want it to display. For me, it makes it a little bit easier to diagnose problems, since at least I don't think in Pico-8, I don't think we have access to like an error console. So that there's no like print to console command as far as I'm aware. Yeah, okay. So we're generating numbers between 1 and 3. We've got these variables. Show fate. So we need some if then else statements to determine what each one of the dice do. Alright, let me think about how I'm going to do this. Okay, first things first. We should break the fate dice off into their own function. Okay? We have generate oracle, or gen oracle, and we have function gen fate end. There we go. All right. Okay. And we need, yep. We're going to copy the if then else logic because I'm just that lazy. Okay. Alright. So if fate 1 equals whatever, then show fate 1 will equal... Nope. Show fate 1 would equal minus. There we go. Alright. Else if fate 1 is equal to 2, then show fate 1 is equal to empty. Else if fate 1 is equal to 3, then show fate 1 is equal to plus. All right. So, that will determine if the first die should show plus or minus or blank. It's not used in calculating the total, but there it is. All right, so let me just do this for the other 3 dice. All right, so generate the random numbers for fate 1, 2, 3, 4, and then assign a value to show fate based on what that number is for dice 1, dice 2, dice 3, dice 4. Okay. So that's gen fate. So let's go back to update. This is so janky. If button, it's a symbol, so it says X, but that's button 1. If the first button is pressed, make this dumb sound effect that I made, and then run these different functions, the generation functions. So there we go. Now the fate function will run as part of the generation. So we'll go back to the Oracle. Where did I put that code at? I'm the worst. Yeah, here we go. Perfect. And then right here, where did I put fate? No, that's generation. We want to draw. Is it under draw? Might be. No. Alright, give me a second here. Yeah, here we go. Draw Oracle. So now it says fate dice. Okay. Okay. Show fate 1. Show fate 2. Show fate 3. Show fate 4. Let's give that a try. Let's see if that runs. Save, and now let's go back to Pico-8. Alright. Clear that screen. Load Hex 2. Run. What is it not like? Line 69 at tab 2. I don't know. I don't know what it doesn't like. I'm gonna have to work with it for a bit. Hang on. Oh, duh. I forgot. These all need end statements. Duh. Yeah, man. So this is the reason why I'm spending my time writing something so simple, because I'm getting stuff like this wrong. All of these if statements need to be closed, right? If, else if, end. Save that. Let's go back here. Load it one more time. Yeah, there we go. Now it's compiling. Ah. It's behaving weird. I think I know why. Because it did not. Let's see. If I go back to my code that shows where that's drawn. Yeah, why is that? Is that because it would run off the bottom? Two 10. Why don't we start this at 2 as well? Let's see if that does it. Load hex 2. Run. Oops. Shoot. Run. Man. All right. Wow. All right, so this is what I did. Oop. Load hex 2 run. Okay. This is the same. It's the same here. So I got the fate dice displaying in the upper right corner. This is a lot more real estate than I wanted to devote to fate dice. But at least the dice faces, they do function. And I'm using an asterisk to show the blank side because I didn't want to just have empty space. You know, in case you roll a natural 0 all the way across, it'll just look like it's blank. So the problem is this. As it turns out, all right, and Pico-8 did not clue me into this, but I'm using these print commands, okay, to, you know, print everything. It's all the print command, all right? And usually it will have, like, I think, as complicated as it gets, as it is, it'll have a text label and then maybe one variable after it. That's as complex as it gets. And then we have X and Y coordinates, or vice versa, whatever, to show where on the screen it is. And then I could add a third number to color that particular text, which I will do at some point. But the problem is, in my not in Pico-8, but in my IDE where I typed the code, I was getting an error. It was throwing a warning. Check this out. Let's see if I can bring it up. All right. Take this. Where's Pico-8? Yeah, drop this down just a little bit. Drop it down further. Great. Where is it now? Yeah, this will work right here. Okay. What makes it work is that I broke it up into each one into its own line. Because watch this. The second I put a comma and try to add something else, receives any number of arguments and prints their values to std out, using the toString function to convert them to strings. Print is not intended for formatted output, but only as a quick way to show a value, typically for debugging or formatted output. For formatted output, use string.format. That's the reason why, because print is not designed for you know, complex outputs. I need to use something else for that. So, oh well. So it is what it is, but at least I figured that out. So let's take a look at once again at the end product. Okay. Run. It does work. My next goals. Now that I've split this into multiple columns, these areas where it says value, D4 value, 2, D6 value, 6. That was all done for testing. So I want to cut that word value out of every single one of those lines, and it's going to slash the screen usage like in half for that function, which is great. which is great. Maybe then I can put fate dice into 2 lines, so it says fate and then dice, then shows the 4. Then it'll be thinner, and I can move it more towards the middle, put something else on the right-hand side. I don't know, but that's where I'm at right now. So let's just see. I don't like to code directly in Pico-8 if I can avoid it. But let's just see. Runes, title screen, solo play, terrain editor. I feel like this is a mistake. I feel like I'm messing up by doing this right now. No, it should be here. Yeah, here we go. Value, 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 value. All right, let's try it. Control S, Control R. That looks a lot less cluttered. Still a long way to go. Like, I really want to make it so that the labels and the values are different colors, but just haven't yet. My next goal is to get this playing card function working down at the bottom.